Hey guys, the Chief Asch here today for another OctoberQuest review. After my Sleepy Hollow review, I kind of got a sweet tooth for Tim Burton. So today I'm going to be reviewing The Corpse Bride, which is another Tim Burton movie before he kind of fell off the cliff. But it's a movie that a lot of people like it a lot. A lot of people really enjoy the movie, and I don't hate it. It's not that I don't like it. I can acknowledge that it's a decent movie. I do feel like that it is kind of cookie cutter from A Nightmare Before Christmas, which everyone is aware of, everyone knows about. I probably won't end up doing a review about it. I know I've done a couple of super mega popular movies or whatever, but that's just one that I feel like it speaks for itself. It's a good movie and it's fun to watch. Corpse Bride, on the other hand, kind of I don't want to say ran on the coattails. It came out way after, there were years in between the two movies, like a significant amount, and it's not that it's a bad movie, but the Corpse Bride parallels A Nightmare Before Christmas a lot, but it has very similar themes. The idea that there's two separate worlds. Nightmare Before Christmas, you have a Jack and Sally-esque figure, Victor and Victoria, and the bride. And that's the only thing is they add, instead of having that love duo, they have a love triangle in this one. And see, that's really the only difference in this movie is how it handles this love triangle. And it's kind of funny to think that it has a love triangle because usually that's more of an adult theme, but this is done as a child's movie. And it does work in that, and it's definitely watchable and it's worth the watch. The musicality in it, because there's a couple sang songs in this movie, it's not as tight as, there's not as many musical numbers as there is in Nightmare Before Christmas, and there is less, there's not as many, and they're not as good. They're not as catchy. They don't get stuck in your head like Nightmare Before Christmas did. Johnny Depp's still your main character, which is not between Nightmare Before Christmas, but like Sleepy Hollow. This is kind of the beginning, not the beginning of Tim Burton's love affair with Johnny Depp, but it's early on. Christopher Lee is also in this movie very briefly. He plays this old priest. But yeah, so the idea is that this guy is about to get an arranged marriage, but he actually, conveniently enough, which this isn't a story that's told very much, but he's in love with this girl that he's supposed to be getting married to. So like, awesome for him. But he's having trouble getting his vows, and he like goes into the woods and he's like practicing his vows, and he accidentally, in a way, marries this dead bride, and so things ensue. He gets pulled down to this other world, which is. It's kind of like hell. Like, I don't really know how else to call it. They call it downstairs and upstairs, but it's hell. It's all these like rotting corpses. They start from dead to straight up skeleton, and that's essentially where it goes. And the bride is kind of in between. Her name ends up being Emily, but the bride, she ends up she's kind of in between. She's got skin, but she's got some bones showing, and he ends up accidentally marrying her, and the movie's essentially about his trying to get away from that and marry the girl he actually loves, but in the means, he ends up really liking the bride, but falling in love with her. It's kind of debatable. It's definitely worth the watch. And like I said, it parallels. Okay, so I said the two worlds parallel, the themes parallel, your characters, your hell underworld characters versus your town characters. Parallel very strongly between Halloween Town and Christmas Town characters in Nightmare Before Christmas. So just from that alone, your main character is also actually, if you look at Sally and the bride, they look almost exactly the same. And Victor looks like Jack Skellington, but a little shorter and with skin. So they both have, and also one thing that really bothered me, I thought was very unnecessary about this movie. It was a parallel, was the parallel between Jack Skellington's dog Zero and Victor's dog in this. Jack Skellington's dog is so it's Zero and Scraps, and Jack Skellington's dog is a ghost, and Victor's dog is a skeleton dog because they're both dead. So, come on. And, one could say, a lot of people kind of start Tim Burton's downfall at Alice in Wonderland and or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. One could say this was the beginning, because this predated Charlie and the Chocolate Factory just a little bit. and it wasn't his best movie. It was kind of like one of those, yeah, okay, I guess it was Tim Burton. But it was like it kind of dropped down a little bit, and everyone was like, okay, well, it was still all right. So we're still Tim Burton fans. And then Charlie Chocolate Factory came out, and everyone was like, something's in the air. And then as Alice in Wonderland came out, we're like, fucking, what happened? So yeah, no, in a way, you could say that this was his first step down the peg. It's kind of like with M. Night Shyamalan, and in my opinion, The Village. You have some really solid movies, and then The Village comes out, and it's like, it's all right, but it's all right. You know, it's still it's watchable. It's a good movie. And then right after, it just goes to shit, and that's kind of where Corpse Bride falls for me on the Tim Burton scale. He had his downfall, just like Downfall, because M. Night Shyamalan stopped getting paid as much. Tim Burton started getting paid a lot more, but he went down in popularity. So, you know, that comes down to this personal choice. But yeah, so the animation style is very similar to Nightmare Before Christmas as well, but it's much more clean, it's more crisp, the style's been a little bit more perfected in the time between, and then even from then until now, it's gotten a lot better. Not necessarily that Tim Burton still does that. He did Frankenweenie recently, but I'm more referring to Kubo and the Two Strings, which came out recently, which is totally another review I need to do. But yeah, it's something to look out for. This was a movie on the list just because it is kind of Halloween based, and or Halloween based because of the hell-esque aspect, and it is very much a Nightmare Before Christmas film. But anyway, it's middle of the road for me. I would still say out of 100, I'd give it probably 60 or 70. It's not a bad movie. It's worth the watch, and especially if you're into Nightmare Before Christmas and want to see something different, it's something you can check out. But namely for the love triangle plot, and I mean, it has its own storyline, and it gets pretty intricate in that, and it's definitely worth the watch because of those things. So I would check it out if you get the chance. This has been the Chief Ash on Corpse Bride for another OctoberQuest review, and keep